Hello, everyone. It is me, Danielle Jane Mitchell, your up and coming queen of real estate, and I'm here for another episode of Tuesday Tip at 2. Hey, everybody. hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me for today's and this week's Tuesday Tip at 2. So, I'm starting a new series, Myth Busters series. Okay. So I'm starting this series and I want to go through some of the common. I feel like, I always try to share from personal experience when I am doing these Tuesday tips at 2. So sometimes there are just a lot of conclusions drawn in regards to real estate that I want to help reshape, reframe, and just simply to say the truth of the matter in regards to it. The myth I'm going to be talking about today is you don't need a realtor to sell your house. You do not need a realtor to sell your house. That is true. You do not need a realtor to sell your house. Absolutely true. But again, like I said before, I'm often inspired by my own experiences. So it is true. In fact, you can sell your house without using a realtor. You can use a real estate attorney. You can just, call up a title company. There are, things that you can do to do it yourself, right? You do not have to list it. You can just do it however way you heard it could be done. But here's why I often advise against that. Especially, so here's an example. I was on a listing appointment, and this is, I think I'm in the running to get it, but I'm still working it. I'm still working at it. But my initial listing appointment, I honestly thought I had it. I was like, well, it was a pre-existing, it wasn't like a cold call situation. So I'm walking into it with my paperwork ready, and like I'm just pretty much coming to see it. But nonetheless, I realized at the end of it that I still had to win those who were selling it over. What I was excited about in regards to this property is that it's in a up and coming new construction area, right? Gentrification type area. So, this was a older owner. The house was an older home, hadn't been updated, so more of a like an investor type listing, which I'm more than fine with and comfortable with. But I was excited because it's like, oh, this gonna be easy because an investor gonna eat this up. There is new construction everywhere you turn, right? Happening. So somebody's going to eat this up. That just means it's going to be offers. It's going to be, a little bit of competition in regards to the property. So I was excited. I said, this is going to be easy peasy, right? All that to say is I got there and, the conversation was, hey, we had a cash buyer come in and take a look at it and blah, blah, blah. Now, just recently, I have had 2 investor like properties. One of them sold already, one of them is under contract. And similar scenario, right? They let me know, hey, we had somebody coming to see it. And I advised them just as I advised this person with this, potential listing. I said, listen, that's great. But we all know, and investors, it. In a situation like that, you're going to get a low number. They're going to offer you a low number. I remember one time, the guy was on some, hey, what do you owe on the property? I'll give you, a couple dollars more than that, 5 more than that, maybe 10 more than that. Because a lot of times, unfortunately, especially in these more kind of gentrification type areas, it's like, hey, the assumption is might be selling it, to because you're upside down on it, or you need bills, or for all these different reasons. And for my owners, sellers of these listings, that's not the case at all. And I strongly encouraged them. I said, listen, you should put it on the market. I told the clients that I did get to listen to me, and it turned out well. And this particular appointment, I said, I'm trying to tell you, put it on the market. This is what's going to happen. This is the worth of your property. And guess what? Even if we price your property perfectly because of where it is and because people will have eyes on it, supply and demand, right? People are going to want to pounce at this property. And so, one of the concerns, like, oh, realtor fees. Listen, by the time you make over what you expected, that's going to cover any realtor fees, right? And, my commission and stuff like that. So, all that to say, we had the conversation. We have talked since. But no, you do not need a realtor. And I expressed to them, hey, you can go ahead and go with that offer. And if you're content with that number, then that's absolutely fine. I also let them know that even if you don't want me to quote unquote list it and you accept that offer, I can still help with your paperwork, right? Sometimes that's called a transaction licensee, right? I'm just helping with the transaction, helping with the paperwork because there's paperwork involved in selling your home, right? So even if you feel as though you don't need a realtor to sell your home, you at the very least should utilize one, even if you want them to come in at maybe a flat rate to handle the paperwork and just make sure the transaction goes smooth because you want someone to represent you. Why? As I stated before, you don't want nobody to take advantage of you that understands real estate a little, even though that an investor may or may not be a licensed realtor, but at the very least they definitely have experience in the buying and selling of properties, right? And the paperwork. So you want to make sure that everything is in your favor and that somebody is working on your behalf. That is a reason why you hire a realtor because you want somebody working for you on your behalf. Because the details can get sticky, it can get tricky, it can be complications that happen. One of the things that a property that I did list and they did utilize my services that was more of an investment one, when they transfer the property over from a parent to a child, put it that way. And, they realized when we were putting it, up for sale, there were some old, utilities that were old, right? But if they had used a realtor or at least consulted one, even if they were transferring it between family, they would have been advised to, at the very least, get a title company to do it. Most people don't know these things, right? But if you're a licensed professional who's in this business, there are some things you just should do that will help you so that you don't have any complications later. Okay? So, Miss Buster, I don't need a realtor to sell my house. You do not. But it is strongly advised because you don't need a doctor to give you stitches. But it's strongly advised you use one, right? You could do it yourself, maybe, but it's strongly advised you could do it yourself, but it's strongly advised you get a professional to handle it, right? Even if it's a nurse, somebody who knows what they're doing, so you don't get infected and all that good stuff. So I think a lot of times people, feel as though it's not a necessity to use a realtor, but we are here to guide you. We're trained, we're here to understand the details of buying and selling real property, right? So when things come up, we have ways of helping you to maneuver through some of the things, right? The details, because it can be a lot. It can be very simple, but it can also be, not so much. So that's me getting on and off my soapbox. All right. I hope that helped you. Listen, if you want to buy, if you want to sell, go to book.djmrealtyco.com. Again, book.djmrealtyco.com to schedule a buyer or seller Consultation. Wish me luck on landing that listing. I think I'm pretty, I'm like 75% sure, but wish me luck on that. Remember, there's no place like home. Remember, there's no place like home buying. And remember that there's no place like home selling. I'm going to just continue with the remember because I said it so many times. And yeah, I'll see you next time. I'm going to talk about another myth. Bye bye. And they transfer the property over. It was from you know, what do you call it? A child to, from a parent to